Probably good to turn the sound on. What's up, Internet? I am Dan. This is Extra Secret Gaming Presents Warp 9 Wednesday. Live from Warp 9 Comics in downtown Clawson at 14 Mile and Main Street. And also known as the Click on Detroit's number one comic book shop in Metro Detroit, as voted on by you, the people. So that's that's a feather in our cap there. We're actually going to get a plaque and everything. It's going to be great. It's going to be an award ceremony. Ice carvings in my face. It's going to be awesome. Maybe not the ice carvings, but, you know. Anyway. So, obviously, you know, we're still waiting for some people to kind of file in. Also, I am solo tonight. I am Mr. Solo Dolo. I didn't even think to ask somebody else to come along for the ride. And I got a lot to talk about today, too. But anyway, yeah, new comic book day. Lots to talk about. As I was talking about before, we actually did Click on Detroit's Vote for the Best contest. We were included this year, which was actually pretty cool. And my main thing was I just didn't want to come in last. Because, you know, let's not come in last. It's always, it's just, you know, and there were other shops that were on, like, the list that I thought we could do better than. So I was, like, all about it. So I really wanted to do it well. And next thing we know, we won the whole thing. So so yeah, shout out to the people who voted. We really appreciate it. And we got a little window cling on the door now. They can't take that away from us, or they can try. I mean, it comes right off. So, but we're getting a plaque too. There's gonna be a little plaque on the wall. It says 2017 was our year. We took the comic book world by storm. It's funny because it says 2017, but the year's only like half over. But whatever, we're gonna take it. Count it. You know what I mean? I'll turn this mic down a little bit. So anyway, how are you guys? Hope you're doing well. You look good. Like I said, man, we got a lot to cover today. Mainly a lot of toys, a lot of comic stuff. So I suppose I should probably just jump right into it. One of the things that kind of showed up today, opposed to yesterday, like with our normal comic book stuff, is a SH Figuarts Tamashii Nations exclusive Qui-Gon Jinn. Now, I've talked about the SH Figuarts in the past. These things are by far the best figures we have in the store. These things are super posable. These things are absolutely amazing. And look, it's Liam Neeson. You can even do like Taken 15, only this time he's got long hair if you wanted to, like, you know, go the other side of that and not do him all Jedi-ish. This figure is absolutely fantastic, though. Doesn't matter whether you lose or lose until whether you win or lose until you lose. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, we're winners here. That's what we do. We win. So this figure is like kind of a highly anticipated figure because, for one, they haven't done a whole lot of Qui-Gon stuff, and for some reason, out of like the first three next to Ewan McGregor, people just love Qui-Gon. But this was a Tamashii Nations exclusive. Now, what does that mean? Well, first off, a normal SH Figuarts comes like this, where you see the figure on the inside and all that stuff. When it's an exclusive, it's only from a Tamashii Nations website, so it's extremely hard to get, for one. For two, it comes in this fancier box, you know, with the fancy. It's the fancy. Look how fancy. It's so fancy. And then we also have the cardboard box with it too, for people who are like, you know, they've gotta have it, you know, gotta have it pristine. Really cool figure, but man, you are going to pay for these. This one's about $120, but I'm telling you, it's the last Qui-Gon figure you ever need. And, you know, like I said, you could also do other little stop motion things like Taken 15. The Takening with Liam Neeson. I like this figure. Anyway, one big surprise that kind of showed up today. Several months ago, you know, we talk about the 112 figures on this show and in the store a lot. You're still holding out hope for the deluxe Jar Jar. Yeah, dude, you hold your breath on that one, my friend. One of these days, it's going to happen. They're going to make a Jar Jar figure. You fucking wait. They will do it. They're going to wait until everybody's like, man, this Star Wars stuff is good. I'm digging the Star Wars stuff. And then boom, Jar Jar all over your face. And you're going to be standing there with a face full of Jar Jar like, what happened? Anyway, I digress. Mezco 112. I talk about these a lot on this show. This is Warp 9 Wednesday, by the way. I think I forgot to even plug the show. Extra Secret Gaming presents Warp 9 Wednesday. But anyway, 112 figures are some of our favorite figures. We love these things, especially now that they're doing, DC Marvel stuff. a while back, we only had a couple of them. They went really fast. Was the Punisher Deluxe figure. Oh, well, some stuff happened today. Our import guy decided that he was like, hey, you know what you guys need? You guys need a Punisher Deluxe figure. I was like, yeah, we do. So we high-fived and hugged it out and broed out a little bit. This thing is absolutely phenomenal. This is one of the most sought-after figures as far as 112s go. This thing is in a tin, and, dude, it's got so much stuff, it's ridiculous. It's got all the guns and everything that you would get from the first figure. But underneath this, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do this without completely shitting the bed. But underneath this is the leather coat, the red vest instead of just the white vest. Because there's the white vest in here. The red vest from his Thunderbolts version, okay? And then it also comes with the leather coat and a bag and then a shit ton more guns. So it's like, I mean, it's every NRA member's wet dream, you know, as far as figures go, you know. But, of course, NRA members will be like, oh, this is a toy. This is for babies. I don't want that stuff. Yeah, Punisher. But anyway, this is one of the best figures we have ever had. I mean, it's unbelievable. But because it was one of those figures that is super hard to get, they didn't make that many of them, this thing would set you back $300. That's pretty much what they're going for right now, between $350. There was 3 different versions of this figure. This is the deluxe version that comes with the Thunderbolts, extra, all the extra stuff I just said. And then there's a figure that was exclusive to Mezco's website that came with the white boots. If you remember in the 80s and like early 90s when he's wearing white boots because he wanted everybody to see him coming for some reason. The white boot one is expensive as well, and even the regular version is very expensive because they didn't make a ton of these. Like with the 112s, they're kind of a safe bet if you're interested in collecting stuff that still maintains value. Because that Marvel Legends Hasbro shit, man, you can toss that shit out, man. Some of them are cool, don't get me wrong. People love them, they're cheap, whatever. But as far as like resale value, you might get one that's hot for about 5 seconds, and then it's gonna drop off the face of the planet. These are where it's at. Put your money into your collection. You will not be unhappy, or maybe you will. I don't know what makes you happy. Anywho, I gotta find a place to set this. I got a lot to show you guys. Sticking with the import stuff. For those of you who kind of know about some Ultraman stuff, SH Figuarts Gamora, big old monster. I am not too familiar with Ultraman stuff, but whenever we get it, it sells, and especially the big monster stuff. You don't see it a lot outside of Japan. But this guy is really cool because, for one, he's got a detachable tail. If you look in the corner here, his tail comes off. So you can have battle-damaged, tails missing Gamora, which I think is like the coolest thing ever. I don't know why I think it's so cool, but I think it's cool. It's like molding, movable, option parts. I mean, this thing is badass. Really, really fun figure. Sets you back about $85, but for the sheer size of it, it's kind of worth the money, you know? And especially if you're an Ultraman fan, why not? You know, I mean, it's perfect for you. So, Gamora, really cool figure. SH Figuarts Bandai. Like I said, I don't know much about this stuff, so I know a lot about a lot of stuff, but not so much the Ultraman stuff. Moving on. If you guys have been in the store, we got a little wall like towards when you first come to the store to the right. That's got like old reaction stuff on there. You know, we used to get a bunch of it, but it never sold. Nobody ever really cared. Funko no longer does the reaction figures. What happens is they sold that kind of part of their business to a company called Series 7. Now, Series 7 decided, like, well, you guys keep making, like, these movie ones and stuff that, you know, nobody cares about because they look kind of cheap and whatever. Why don't you do stuff that people really, really, really think would be cool and, like, go to, like, the throwback stuff? So they decided to do Masters of the Universe ones, which we were like, that's what this line should be. Totally. You know, I mean, these are really fun. They're cheaper. They're about $15, you know, and they're definitely not meant for you to like take out and play with because look at the card. I mean, they did such a nice job with the card. It just kind of takes you back. There's going to be a ton of these. We just got the first wave, including Skeletor, Tila, Cobra Khan, Do or Die. Oh, different movie. Battle Armor He-Man, or did we get the regular He-Man? I'm talking like there's somebody else in here. This is how bad this is. Battle Armor He-Man. We got that guy. So these things take you back, man. If you had any He-Man growing up, He-Man was the shit back in the 80s. I mean, let's face it. He-Man was awesome. It was a good time. They had such cool toys. Especially like the Cobra Khan guy. This guy, he used to be able to squirt water out of his head with the old Hasbro stuff, you know. But these are really fun, kind of meant to just kind of sit on the wall and, you know, hopefully you dust your stuff, or they can collect dust, whatever. It's your life. But these are really cool. And even on the back, it's got like the history of the character and all the other ones and stuff. So, yeah, dude, they hit you right in the nostalgia. Tell me about it. They're going to nostalgia all over your butt. This is some good stuff, man. They're a lot of fun, especially with the old art cards. If they end up doing a line like G.I. Joe like this, which will never, ever happen because Hasbro would never let that happen without all sorts of lawsuits. But, dude, can you imagine, like, these nice cards with the nice art again with the G.I. Joes on them, man? That will hit you right in the nostalgia. So, these are fun. Like I said, man, $15. They're kind of fun. And surprisingly, we got these from Diamond, and the cards are, like, perfect, which is shocking because typically stuff like cards like this, man, if I took pictures of some of the shit you guys would see show up, you'd be like, why do you even bother? Because, let's just put it this way, those guys are bad at Tetris. Really bad at Tetris. Unlike Dan. Dan is good at Tetris. I mean, you guys have been in the store. We're doing a lot with a little. Next thing, Marvel Gallery line. Really affordable, $45 PVC statues. I really like these a lot, just mainly because, for one, they're doing a good job. Marvel's normal, like, resin statues have not been good. The paint job's just not great. Ever since the thing with Bowen Designs not doing their statues anymore, they've been having some problems. They've been going through Diamond Select, which I don't want to rag on Diamond Select because I think they do a good job in some aspects, but not a big fan of the paint jobs that they've been doing on the statues, so we've been kind of not ordering the Marvel statues. For anybody who's been in the store, you see we got a lot of DC statues. Up until we got our Captain Marvel Sideshow statue, which I really wanted to show on here, but I got to take a video of it and then get the video on here, but I didn't have time for that today. If you come to the store, see our Sideshow Captain Marvel statue, it's freaking fantastic. But anyway, the Marvel Gallery line, this is great, especially because there's not a ton of Black Panther merchandise out there right now. I don't know why they decided that Black Panther didn't need a ton of merchandise, kind of like with Rey and The Force Awakens. They decided that she didn't need a ton of merchandise, which was a huge mistake. Really cool little pose. I know it's hard to see with that there, but if you look on the back here, that's kind of the pose of it. These are really well made. I like them a lot. I have the Medusa. What other ones have I had? I've had a couple other ones. You know, they're hit or miss. Some of them you're just not going to like. You know, you're not going to like the pose or whatever. This one is one of those that I really like a lot. For $45, you can't beat it. It's got a little bit of weight to it, too. So it's not just going to go flying, you know, anytime your cat hits it or anything like that. I really like this statue. So, yeah, we just got those in. A couple of them. They're sweet. $45. Plus tax. At Warp 9 Comics. So the next three things, and then we're going to move on to some comic talks. There's a lot of comics, at least for like the Marvel side of things. We get Sideshow Hot Toys here. This is the first time that we've gotten some in quite a while, mainly because they go in spurts, and we're getting a lot of them here over the next few months because I don't know why they do that. So we got a few of them. These are going to be tough to show off on stream because I'm probably not going to open them, but we can talk about them a little bit. First one is this gigantic guy, K2SO. So they do these in scale. So like typically they're all a 6 scale. So this one's going to stand taller than all your other normal ones because they want them to look. I mean, it doesn't make sense for Rey to be the same size as K2SO, nor does it make sense for them to be in the same movie together. Because, you know, but he could have survived that long. He's a robot. He can do whatever, you know. If you're not familiar with Hot Toys, Sideshow Collectibles, it's kind of like their secondary business. Sideshow Collectibles mainly does really high-end statues and busts and things. And then now they have a company called Hot Toys that does high-end toys. I think it's partial die-cast. I don't think it's fully die-cast because the price point is only at about $230. Typically, if it's all die-cast, you're looking at closer to over the $300 mark because, like, with the Iron Mans, are always a lot more. Really cool figure though, man. We can take a look and show a little bit, but it's gonna be tough. And I can't take them out because, you know, that's not how that works. So they always do these really nice, as far as like the way they build the boxes and everything. Really, really good looking figures. But comes with a few different things. His eyes light up. He comes with batteries. So really tall, kind of hard to see, like I said. But, you know, really, really fun stuff, man. We love the Star Wars ones here. We also have an R2-D2 coming very soon. And, R2-D2 and Jedi Luke from Force Awakens. So, like, that'll be fun. I can't wait to see that. Because whenever they do the heads of, like, famous actors, these things are, like, it's like having them in your home, man. You can sit there and be like, what's up, Lil you know, Mark Hamill, you're awesome. We should hang out. Next one is a guy who had very little screen time, but you always looked at him being like, that dude's kind of interesting. I might have a beer with that guy. Or, you know, a soda. The Death Star Gunner. This guy mainly was the dude who was like, I'm going to hit the switch and blow up Alderaan. He was one of those dudes that was like, okay, I hit this button, it hits that button, and there goes a bunch of energy, and there goes a planet. That was mainly his job. So I guess if you like mass genocide, this is like the perfect figure for you. Otherwise, if you're just into fictional characters, it's really a good one for you too. As far as the price point in this guy, a little bit less expensive, obviously, in K2SO. A lot less goes into it. About $205, which is good. Typically, they go for like $225 for most Marvel ones. So like this one's actually a pretty good value. I didn't look to see what else he comes with. I know he's got his little blaster, which is sweet. Oh, look, there's two of them in the picture. Screwed now. They're going to blow up 2 planets. Oh, man, that's badass. So, multiple hands, as you can see. Multiple hands. We got his gun there. A few other things. There's something kind of hanging out there. That's not a very good sign. But real cloth on the pants and everything. Really, really, really cool. So, I mean, I know, like, the Death Star Gunner is kind of he's one of those kind of, like, you know, it's like having a stormtrooper, you know, they all kind of look the same. But if you've never had one before, if you've never done one before, this is definitely up your alley, because, like, you got to be a completionist, otherwise you're a punk. Huh? What? I didn't say nothing. I'm just calling you out, you know? You got to be a completionist or else you're a punk. I'm just saying. The next one, they went all out with designing this box. As you can see, this is Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, based on Margot Robbie and her booty shorts and her baseball bat and her craziness. So it's more of like the from the Suicide Squad, obviously, but even the Joker one, like, it's like a purple box. It's kind of crazy. These ones are cool though, just because like the box slips up, and then this kind of opens and folds out, which is a fun little thing. So it opens, it folds out, and then you got your Harley. The only real disappointing thing, like, it comes with like a jacket on this other side down here, bunch of different hands, baseball bat, I mean, all sorts of fun stuff. The only major disappointment that I can see, I mean, I wish you guys could see this because it looks just like her, but it only came with one head. That makes me sad, because typically most Hot Toys come with multiple heads. Especially with this one, she's got her crazy face, you know, kind of the way Dan looks when he shows up at parties. You know, the crazy, I'm here to flip over your couch look. The cool thing about it, I mean, it looks just like her. The bad thing, I wish there was a secondary head, one that was a little bit more serious. It's just me. I know it's kind of quibbles, but that's just the way I feel. But with the base and everything else, especially now that they're probably going to do a Harley, you know, movie and maybe a second Suicide Squad, and they really want to base a lot of stuff around Margot Robbie, this is kind of a safe bet as far as, like, if you're just trying to keep one around to see if it's going to be worth more in the future. It is $250, but I have a feeling by the time they do the second movie, she's not going to be wearing the same outfit. I mean, I would hope they would change it up, but you never know what they're thinking. If people don't like the same or the new outfit and they like the more classic look, you'll be sitting on something that could be worth more money, you know. Great thing about Hot Toys, thing I love the most, that you can display them if you keep them nice and still sell them for a profit later. You know, as long as you kept all the stuff and everything looks good and you're serious like about collecting, Hot Toys are a great thing because they don't make a ton. You know, I mean they make enough, but there's not a zillion of them are out there. The quality is always there, and because it's a licensed product with the fandom, and in this case it looks just like Margot Robbie. You know, if she decides at the last minute, you know what, I want to just go do Shakespeare in the Park. I'm done with this Harley Quinn shit. You know, now you've got everyone's favorite Harley, and this is the only toy they ever made because she's not given her likeness anymore. Next thing you know, you're sitting on a gold mine. A million things can go into it. But, yeah, Hot Toys, man. We love our Hot Toys here. In the next coming weeks, I will have Doctor Strange. I will have R2-D2, the Jedi Luke, Wonder Woman from Batman vs. Superman. That one is going to look phenomenal. And if that one I might have to see if I can talk Trey and let me take out of the box so we can show off Gal Gadot's head, because I guarantee it's going to look friggin' perfect. So, Hot Toys stuff, good stuff. A lot of cool toys. You know, we've got pretty much everything in stock. So yeah, if there's any questions about toys, you guys know where to find me. We'll move on to some comics. Comics this week. Light on DC, lots of Marvel, and then some new stuff from the indies. I'm probably gonna hit the indie stuff first, and just kind of breeze through this a little bit. I'm not gonna take up too much of your guys' time, even though I know you love hanging out with me. But the first things first. One of the things that was making around on the internet, people were like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be the second coming of Jesus." And by Jesus, I don't mean Jesus Christ. I mean Jesus from The Walking Dead, because this is The Walking Dead. This is issue number 171. It introduces a woman. I'm not going to give her full name because I forget about it. But she calls herself the Princess of Pittsburgh, because in this storyline, they have made their way into Pittsburgh. They're starting to see cities that aren't overrun with zombies, yet they run into this little firecracker. She's got a gun. She's got a bubbly personality. She talks a lot. But a lot of people are thinking that she is going to play a pretty central role going forward now that they've gotten rid of some other characters in the past. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. So it was kind of an important issue as far as Walking Dead. They don't have a ton of important issues anymore because, I mean, people have kind of waned off the first appearances. So I don't know if this book will do anything in the future. Now, with that said, they'll probably introduce her in the next season and everyone will be like, "Oh my God, she saved The Walking Dead. It's amazing now." I don't watch the show, so... But, yeah, if you're looking for a first appearance, I mean, something to kind of hang on to for a current book, Walking Dead, you know, the new one out this week, you know, get the one with the pink shirt. There was a variant, and then there was a variant to the variant, which was funny, because there was a variant, and then inside of the variants, you could get a variant that was signed, which was like, we had a ton of people in here asking about it. We didn't do that. Because what would have happened is people would have been like, well, how much is it? Well, it's $75. I'm not paying that. Why isn't it cover price? Not doing that. Obvious cash grab from Image, but you got to do what you got to do. We had a new Kingsman book this week. If you read the book, like the original book from Millar World by Mark Miller, it was originally Secret Service, and then they made it into the Kingsman movie. This is just in time for the second movie, obviously. If you liked the way that movie finished and you liked that character and you wanted to kind of see more going forward before we get in the next movie, this is kind of a good little segue book. It still has the same tone. It's not written by Mark Miller. It's written by Rob Williams, art by Simon Fraser, called The Red Diamond. If you haven't read this stuff, it's very much like taking James Bond and kind of flipping it on his head. You know, it's not so refined. It's more of just kind of like, it's a bit ridiculous. It's fun, though. I read it last night. I actually had a good time with the book. Something different. So if you're looking for that, or if you're looking to continue the other stuff, good too. As far as like the old Secret Service stuff. One book that I didn't know much about. It's written by Sebastian Gerner, art by Galad, and letters and design by Jeff Powell. It came out from Image, a new #1 called Scales and Scoundrels. I really like this book. It's very much fantasy. But it's not high fantasy. It's more of like, it's more relatable, if you can relate to a girl who could possibly be a dragon. I guess my ex-girlfriends can relate to that. Oh, high-fiving everybody. I really like this book a lot, though. It was a good time. I don't know how much legs it's going to have as far as collectability, or if anybody else is really paying attention. But once again, if you're looking for something different, and a little more fantasy-based, it's a lot of fun. The art takes a little getting used to. I think it fits the book very, very, very well. It's a little more kind of cartoony, but for the tone of the book and the tone of the main character, it's perfect. And the coloring is fantastic. I mean, it really pops. I mean, you can see it just in the video how much like everything kind of shifts and is really just kind of in your face. So once again, something new from Image. It's called Scales and Scoundrels. Fun so far. It's the first issue. We'll try to keep track of it and see if it continues to be good. So another new one. This is actually from Boom. From Clay McLeod Chapman, Jay Levang, and then the cover was by Ignacio Valencente. I hope I didn't screw that up too bad. It's called Lazaretto. It's a book about these two kids who are just going to college, and as they get to college, they realize that a lot of people in the college are sick, and then some stuff starts to go down. Once again, the art kind of is not bad, but it's very, very, very kind of dirty in a way, I would say. A little unrefined. Fits well for the book because, like I said, there's people with illnesses and hawking and coughing and grossness. That's what it's kind of trying to do. It's cool because it's about like neither of these people have ever been away from home, and now they're in this college and all this shit's going down. So, you've got these introverts who are trying to kind of deal with this whole situation. First issue, hard to tell where it's going to go going forward, but, good first issue, but we'll see. I hope they kind of keep it up, and I hope it doesn't go all like zombie-ish because that's been done to death, folks, But something new if you want to check it out from Boom Studios, Lazaretto. Moving on to DC. We got a new Bombshells book this week. Bombshells started off as just statues and collectibles, turned into a whole line of comics that were digital first, and have now, they went for quite a while. I think there's about 4 or 5 volumes in the trade paperbacks now. This is the new Bombshells United. It's just kind of doing like a second volume. If you enjoyed the first Bombshells volume, you'll definitely enjoy this. They do a good recap at the front. So if you haven't read the first volume of Bombshells and you wondered about it, don't worry about being like, oh my god, I can't read this. I need to read all the other stuff. They do a recap and they don't lay too heavy on what happened before. They kind of... Marguerite Bennett does a really good job of being like, hey, welcome to my world, The art is impeccable as usual. Marguerite Sauvage. So we got 2 Marguerites who make a right in this book. So it's a fun one. It takes place mainly in like World War II, and it takes all of your favorite DC heroines and makes them like they are the focus. That you get all sorts of different takes on like Zatanna and Wonder Woman and Killer Frost and Joker's daughter, lots of stuff. Aunt Lucia on that in any way, or just the Bombshells franchise. Aunt Lucia is not on this in any way. No. Just the Bombshells. Like statues. Yeah, no, there's no Aunt Lucia in this. But you get some cover by the Dodsons, which is always good. I mean, look at that. Dude, Dodsons on anything is like, I'll hang that on my wall. So Bombshells United #1 just came out this week. I really liked it. It looks like it's going to be an ongoing. And if anything, if the old book tells you anything, it's a fun one and it's a good place to jump on. So I talked about Batman last time, 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to talk about Batman again. And mainly because this is the second interlude. So once again we're getting another Kite Man interlude. If you read the Kite Man interlude from about a month ago, you realize like this completely nothing character has one of the most heartbreaking backstories you'll ever hear in comics. I mean, it's it hurts. And this is the second one, to where eventually Kite Man's like one of the last men standing on the Joker's army, and it kind of goes from there. Once again, man, I mean, Tom King's taking an absolute nothing character and he's making him like ridiculously interesting, and it's just, it's just so heartbreaking. So like, even if you don't like the war jokes and riddles, if you just read those 2 issues, you'd be like, wow, this is great, because it's absolutely fantastic. I've been loving the war jokes and riddles. Written by King. The interlude's done by Clay Mann and Seth Mann. So the men's did the art on this. Really fun one, but I just thought it was it was definitely worth mentioning. That has been fantastic. Batman 30 is my book of the week. Mr. Mike Mack's book of the week is Batman number 30. Legit had to take a moment after reading it. Yeah, dude, it kicks you right in the feels. We've talked about before on this show, it'll kick you in the cockles. And if you don't have some cockles, borrow some cockles from somebody else and get kicked in them. Give yourself the feels. So we've got quite a bit of Marvel stuff, and then we're going to wrap it up. I know I'm going a little quick here, but I've actually been under the weather for like a week straight, and I have just started getting a little better, and I don't want to push it too much. So we're gonna we're gonna move it along here. First thing, the Generations books. We've talked about the Generations books before on Warp 9 Wednesday. I've actually really been liking these a lot. There's not one that I haven't enjoyed, and honestly, they're ones that have been picking up in sales as they go along our last week and 2 weeks and 3 weeks racks, because now we're starting to see some of them sell out. Like the Jean Grey book sold out. The Wolverine book is still got quite a few, unfortunately, but it's really, really, really good. Yeast infection? I don't know what you mean. Anyway. So, no, I don't have a yeast infection. I don't know if I have allergies or what. I've never been diagnosed with allergies, but I'm thinking I might have some allergies because, like, shit's real, and I hate it. So anyway, just like in the other Generations books, you've got the main hero of the main book, Invincible Iron Man, in this case, Riri Williams, being transported in time to a different time frame and then basically meeting somebody that is influential in their life. In this case, she comes face to face with Tony Stark again. She goes to the future. So in this case, it's like Tony being like, yo, look at the future. The future's rad, right? Guess what? You can't remember any of it or any of this shit because, we can't tell you stuff. And you can't record any of it either. But it's pretty cool. It's more of a like, hey man, don't give up kind of book. It will get better. And I think it's something that I think it's something that we kind of need right now. Bendis did a really good job. You know how Bendis is. He's talky. He's got the gift for gab. So it's really cool to see Riri and Tony kind of interact. And one of the things, it's kind of a spoiler, but I think it'd get people to read it. Tony Stark in the future isn't Iron Man. He has taken up a different mantle. And it's kind of really interesting to see. And it makes a lot of sense. So it's a fun book. Once again, I have a feeling all these Generation books eventually are going to lead into like the legacy stuff, even though they're not saying it so much, but I have a feeling that that's going to be a thing. So I did pick up the Wolverine book and it was really solid. Yeah, I like the Wolverine book was my favorite one of the Generation stuff so far. This one was really good too, though, just because, I like when Bendis just does single one-off stuff and he talks between two of his favorite characters. You can tell he's having fun, I really enjoy that about him. I think he's, like I said, the gift for dialogue. So it's really, really cool. So Generations, the Iron Man book, fun one this week if you want to check out that. And they're all one-shots, man. So, like, even if you spend your, what is it? It's a $5 book, unfortunately. But for those of you who are in the Comics Club at Warp 9 Comics, you get 25% off. So it would be $3.74 with no tax. So I think it's worth $5, especially some of the other ones have been great. But this one was really good, too. We're not to my favorite book of the week yet, Mike. I know Mike called his. I will show you mine probably last just because I thought it was goddamn brilliant. But this one was pretty close. This one was really good. Captain Phasma. Everybody was disappointed in Captain Phasma's brief appearances in The Force Awakens. This one talks literally about, she gets put in the trash compactor. This talks about everything else after that. Literally her getting out of the trash compactor and then going and taking care of business. And essentially the business she's taking care of is covering her own ass. Because if you remember in The Force Awakens, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it yet, it's almost been 2 years. I don't give a shit. In The Force Awakens, she was the one who dropped the shield. That eventually got them bombarded and they lost Starkiller Base. In the First Order, my guess is that's probably she's going to lose her head for that one, So it's all about her trying to cover her tracks. But she does some really badass stuff in this book, which has me thinking that with this and the Phasma novel that came out, they've got plans to make Phasma a little more badass in this next movie, which I think is what everybody wanted with the first movie, is they were like, Look at this lady, man. It's like she's got rims on her stormtrooper suit, man. You know, it's like she's coming to the party like she's like, look at me, blow. I can like the disco ball of this motherfucker. And then we didn't get that, so hopefully we get that now. But she does some really cool, badass stuff in this. I really enjoyed this book a lot, but honestly, all the Star Wars stuff for me has been absolutely phenomenal. Even the stuff I thought was just okay, like the Chewbacca book, it's still a solid read. It's not a bad comic book at all. So, but that's just me. I mean, I'm not even really a Star Wars slappy. Yes, I am. I like Star Wars. Yeah, I like James Earl Jones. He's a good guy. But seriously though, like it's a fun book. It's just one that's gonna be another little short thing just before the movie to get you primed and pumped for the Last Jedi. Who's the Last Jedi? Is it Phasma? Phasma could be the Last Jedi. Am I the Last Jedi? I could be the Last Jedi. You can tell it's been a long day. I'm starting to get tired. Continuing with the theme, didn't Secret Empire show the Generations travelers already back in their proper town? I don't know, man. Expect me to know that. Maybe? Possibly? I don't know. Secret Empire was kind of a shit show. Anyway, though. Sticking with the Star Wars theme, we got something that I've been begging for since Marvel got the Star Wars license back. A Star Wars Adventures kids book. Hell yeah. The reason I say that is because I need stuff for younger readers, period. You know, like DC's finally going to start doing like a Batman book and like a Wonder Woman book for kids. They've needed that for a long time because, hey, we love you older nerds. I am an older nerd. We have a lot of older nerds. But let's face it, the older we get, we don't get new readers. That's it. It's over. You know, we're not going to be open anymore. There won't be any of this anymore. And all we're going to be doing is sitting around being like, remember when there were comic books? That was awesome. Now we just got like a bunch of Amazon warehouses and drones flying around and shit. This sucks. I'm not a fan of the future. That's not true. I guess I kind of like the future. Anyway, though, Star Wars Adventures. This starts off with a Rey story. Really fun Rey story. It's just kind of about her time on Jakku. Oh my god, I almost forgot Jakku. So it takes place a little bit more of, just kind of what she had to deal with. And then also it's got a backup Obi-Wan story. And it's the Obi-Wan, it's Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan story about him trying to catch a thief and stuff. Really fun stuff, man. It's not a single standalone story, which was kind of surprising to me. I thought that they would do these a little more single standalone. You can pick one up, read it, have some fun. But I guess they're planning on doing some actual story arcs because this first one, it's going to lead into another one. So I hope they don't go too crazy with that. I hope they keep it to 2 and 3 if they're going to do it that way, and then go back to maybe some one-shot stuff. It's just a little bit easier to sell on my end than anything else. But I think it would keep people a little more interested if they can just pick up a Star Wars book, have some fun, and then toss it aside and not have fun anymore because they don't like fun, apparently. You don't like fun? I like fun. So, really fun book. Surprisingly, though, IDW did this. Marvel decided that they weren't going to do the Star Wars kids book. They were going to let IDW handle it. IDW does a lot of kids books, a lot of licensed kids book, and they already do a lot of other Disney kids books. So it's pretty interesting. So they've always had that backroom deal with IDW, like letting them print some stuff for them and everything. So far, so good. The first story was written by Kevin Scott. The artist was Derek Charm. The backup story, got to give it double or do. Also written by Kevin Scott, but the penciler was John Somariva. Somariva. We're going to go with that. And inks by Sean Parsons, and the colorist was Charlie Kershaw. And the letterer was Tom B. Long. Tom B. Long, right. Yeah, that's not your porn name at all. Come on now, buddy. Come on now. One book that I think some people will enjoy if you like this character, or specifically this character, like what they do with the Spider Universe. I'm not a huge fan of this stuff. This book was solid. It was a solid book. I probably won't read more than a couple of issues because I read just about everything and it's just not in my wheelhouse. We got the Venomverse book this week. Now, interesting thing, because the Edge of Venomverse stuff just wrapped up. It didn't really get a lot of readership, at least not at our store. I know that in the other stores it might be the best selling thing they've ever had. Not here. This is just kind of okay. Eddie Brock gets transported to this Venomverse place where there's these other zombies that if they touch you and you have a symbiote, you now become an anti-venom, essentially. And then it goes from there. So it's very much a kind of almost zombie-ish, oh, we get bitten, we turn into something else, we're going to bite you, and I'm going to bite this guy and that guy, and we're all going to bite everybody. It's kind of that thing. But it's also fun because you can see the artist is having a lot of fun with the different versions of, like, Captain America's got a symbiote, this guy's got a symbiote, you get a symbiote. It's like Oprah went on in a universe and gave everybody a symbiote instead of a fucking car in that episode, You get a symbiote, you get a symbiote. Oprah with a symbiote is a book I would read. But anyway, though. So it's kind of fun just to see that. You can definitely tell the artist is having a blast on it. It's written by Cullen Bunn, who's always, in my opinion, solid and doesn't really get enough credit for a lot of the stuff that he does. I've heard some people say they're not big fans of Cullen Bunn. Well, we all can't be fans of Cullen Bunn. Iban Coelho is doing the pencils, and Matt Yackey is so those guys are on the 1s and 2s. But it's kind of a fun one, like I said. If you're into Venom, if you're into symbiotes, if you're into seeing like just kind of crazy stuff, or if you're into Elseworld stuff, I think you'd probably dig the book. Maybe worth a check out. I think we can all agree Topher Grace was the best Venom. I'm about to ban your ass. No, I know you're trolling, Mike. Last but not least was a thing I tweeted out last night at about 12 o'clock at night. This was absolutely fantastic. Darth Vader number 5. I've been digging this Charles Soule run on Darth Vader. And the reason being is the stuff they're adding to Darth Vader's mythos it's very important. I mean, it's crazy important. For all those people out there who are like, they're doing away with all the backstory. Blah, blah. Don't care. This is better. This is so good. It's all about the story about how the Emperor tells Vader, you need a lightsaber, because his was taken by Obi-Wan. And the Emperor's like, I got a ton of lightsabers in the back, but you can't have those. I earned that shit. You got to go earn yours. So he sends him out in the universe being like, peace. And Vader's like, so I got to, go kill somebody who's got a lightsaber. Go find a Jedi. I eliminated all of them, so good luck. But he sends him out there to go get his own lightsaber. Not only that, but he's got to take the lightsaber and he's got to turn it red. And turning it red isn't just a thing of being like, well, this one, I just turn this button and then boom, red. It's not how it works. The kyber crystals have to be changed. And this is all about that. First off, the cover on this thing is like, holy shnikes. Like, this is one of the most badass covers I've ever seen on just a regular, normal book. It's got, the look of Anakin under the mask is a look of, like, almost terror. He's terrified by what he's seeing. Which is just absolutely amazing, because this book takes place of, like, he just became Vader. So he's not 100% like, dark side. There's still a little bit of Anakin left in here. So he's not completely fearless. Not to mention, there's tons of times in the movies and stuff where we didn't get to see an expression. We only see the helmet. So we don't really know what's going on under that mask, This is absolutely fantastic. It blows the doors off of all sorts of stuff. It talks about the kyber crystals. It talks about he gets a vision of what could have been, which is goddamn heartbreaking. And then it goes from there. I mean, it is like, ugh. And then the last page, which is an ad for next month's issue, was another oh shit moment. It's not a spoiler, so I don't want to say that I'm spoiling anything. But we're gonna get our dude from Rebels. So even that was like, oh my god, like I turned to the last page and it's like, this is the next issue, and I'm like, oh my god, we're getting him too. Like, this is, I mean, it's turning into just such a fantastic book. So now we're gonna get some questions answered about the brothers, like the 6 brothers, 7 sister, all those guys. I mean, this book is just, I mean, I can't say enough good things about this book. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Written by Charles Soule, who's like at the top of my list now. Giuseppe Camuncoli is doing the pencils. Cam Smith doing the inks. David Curiel is doing the colors. The cover was done by Giuseppe Camuncoli and Francesco Mattina. Look up their art on their own pages, man, because I gotta tell you, man, I'm with you, Comic Book Assassin. I need this cover too, because it's absolutely fucking fantastic, and I need it as a print like yesterday, because I mean, look at the eye, man. He's just, I mean, and the cool thing is the color they did, it's not yellow. He's not full Sith yet. You know, so he's like, he sees something in front of him that is just like, oh my God, you know? I mean, it's, I can't say enough good things about this book. It's just absolutely phenomenal. You should check it out. Yeah, man, I can't wait for Rebels to return either. That show is just, it's something else. It really, really is. Been a big fan of that show for quite a while. So anyway, if you guys got any questions, hit me up. You can let me know right now. I'm about to get out of here in a minute though. So yeah, I mean, we covered a lot of stuff today, obviously a lot of new comics and things. Next week is going to be a heavy week. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff next week. Probably won't be as toy heavy next week unless I get a couple more hot toys in. I'm pretty sure the Wonder Woman is on its way. Yeah, actually the Wonder Woman's going to be here tomorrow. So I may not even get to show the Wonder Woman because it might be sold. Honestly, like it's that nice. So let's hope that it sells, but also hope that if it doesn't sell, I get to show it off to you guys. So anyway, man, that is your show. That is Warp 9 Wednesday for 9/6/2017, presented by Extra Secret Gaming. I am Dan from the internet. I also work here at Warp 9 Comics. Yeah, man, hit us a follow if you have not hit us a follow on the Extra Secret Gaming Twitch page. Otherwise, I will have this up probably this weekend on the Extra Secret Gaming YouTube channel. Subscribe there if you like. I am available for questions at extrasecretgaming@gmail.com. Also, I host a podcast with E.A. Henson called Extra Secret Podcast. That is available on iTunes, and we just put up a new episode 101. We are back from our hiatus, and we talk about all sorts of stuff. Go home and get healthy. Man, I've been trying to get healthy for like the last week, and I don't know what's going on. So I'm hoping I'm not dying. I think I have cancer of the face. I hope I didn't offend anybody who actually had cancer of the face. But, yeah, man, I'm going to try to get healthy here. I don't know what's going on, but I can't seem to shake it, and it's driving me crazy. So, anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. I will be back here on Friday. I'm going to do a little bit of gaming on Friday. I haven't done that in a while. And then back at it on Sunday as well. We'll probably do a little gaming, maybe talk a little bit other stuff. I might even show off that Wonder Woman hot toy on Friday if it's still here. And go from there. I also got some stuff to give away later in the week, too, so make sure you tune in. So, appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I will see you next time.